big diplomatic headline. Well, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has concluded a crucial visit to Maldives. Remember, this was the first high-level visit from India to Maldives, and Maldives becomes all the more important for India after the situation that is unfolding in Bangladesh. It was a comprehensive meeting with Maldives' Mohammad Muizzu, and it also comes perhaps weeks or months after Mohammad Muizzu visited India for Prime Minister Modi's swearing-in ceremony. Our colleague Mohammad Ghazali, who tracks the Ministry of External Affairs, is now live with us. So, Ghazali, talk to us about the key takeaways of this particular visit. Economy was a clear focus, also security and defense.
See, there were certain MOUs which were signed between the two countries related to defense as well as public health projects, which Mr. Muizzu appreciated in his tweet as well later, or in his statement he issued later, saying that how happy he was to meet the External Affairs Minister of India. Later, the External Affairs Minister of India, Mr. Dr. Jaishankar, who concluded his visit, counted on multiple projects. Like there were some projects of water treatment and sewerage plants in Maldives, and there were some projects related to specific islands in Maldives, which India has been funding. But the major MOUs which were significant in this particular trip were related to the digital payment. So Maldives doesn't have that kind of infrastructure to promote digital payment, and they have signed an MOU with India, where India will be guiding the digital payment or UPI transactions in Maldives. And Dr. Jaishankar said that perhaps in coming years, Maldives will also start having digital transactions or UPI transactions there. The second MOU, which is very important, was the training of civil servant or the civil services officers in Maldives, which will be done in collaboration with India and Maldives. The joint training will be done for the Maldivian civil servant officers. And besides that, what was very significant in this trip was that both the countries, or representatives of both the countries, had changed their tones of what we had seen before the swearing-in ceremony in June of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his third term. This time around, Mr. Muizzu kept talking about that how India is the close ally, how he values the association with the neighboring country. And also, India also spoke about that how Dr. Jaishankar, in his public address there in the press briefing as well, he spoke about that how India has been assisting Maldives, not just in economic terms, but also when it came to vaccine during the COVID era. During COVID times, India sent medical supplies, vaccines were supplied, and not just in the last 4 or 5 years, but Dr. Jaishankar spoke about that how India and Maldives have been very close allies since 60s, when Maldives was became an independent nation.
All right, Ghazali, thanks very much for joining us with all those details. In fact, also joining me on the World News this morning, Aditya Shivamurthy, Associate Fellow of Neighborhood Studies at the ORF. Thanks very much, Mr. Shivamurthy, for being with us. My first question to you, the fact that Mohammad Muizzu has called India a closest ally, is a defining moment in Indian diplomacy and contemporary diplomacy, and perhaps, an emblematic of the fact that India has been able to walk that diplomatic tightrope with Maldives while maintaining, that not only is Maldives important for India, but even for Maldives, India is an important ally.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, from the tone that we had seen since Muizzu came in as the president to what we are seeing now, I think there has been a significant departure in his tone of anti-Indian rhetoric, in his tone, in how he perceives India. And I think, yes, this message has gone out quite clear. I think since the early days when Muizzu was in power, India continued to be an accommodative, had an accommodative foreign policy. In fact, they went on to offer budget assistance of 770 crores last year. This year it has been 400 crores. But apart from that as well, I think India has offered around an extension of 50 million US dollars when the foreign minister was here in Delhi last time. And that also shows that when Maldives' economy is under a deep crisis, the debts are at all-time high and the repayments are to be made soon. India is giving a stronger message that we have been accommodative and we'll be there at your times of distress. And I think the Maldives government has also now realized that it needs India more than any other country needs it right now.
That's right. In fact, what does it mean, the shift from an India out policy to calling India a closest ally? What does it really mean? Because there was a lot of backlash in Maldives as well, the Maldives domestic politics at play as well, and also economically, given the fact that tourism is one of the most important pillars of the Maldivian economy, which is why India becomes so significant for Maldives.
See, I think a couple of things, right? One, again, the economy is doing really bad, and I think for
Yes.
Muizu, it has been crucial to improve relations with India and also get the financial assistance that India could offer. In fact, one of the sovereign bonds that were issued to Maldives will be expiring next month, and which is worth 50 million US dollars. And Maldives doesn't have that capacity to repay these debts. You are seeing a significant change in tone, and in fact, you'll also have to acknowledge the fact that. The domestic politics Muizu has some control over right now, which was not the case 5-6 months ago. In fact, with the parliamentary election now, Muizu has a complete majority, and I think he's now more flexible in terms of having a India policy, and in terms of his U-turn, I don't think he's sensing any criticism coming from his own party, because now that he has a control of his own party, I don't think there is any significant controversy, significant criticism coming towards him. But yeah, definitely, I think a lot of things have changed. There was tourism, a number of Indian tourists going to Maldives significantly reduced. In fact, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, the Maldivian delegation was here to promote tourism itself.
Right.
And now that the fact that they're also trying to have UPI between India and Maldives, UPI
Yes.
transaction. So I think that also is a significant step to boost tourism in the Maldives, and
Sure.
also yes.
All right. Thanks very much, Mr. Shivamurthy, for being with us. As Mr. Shivamurthy is saying, well, Maldives becomes all the more important for India, given the fact that the situation in Bangladesh remains on the edge. It remains precarious, which is why India needs to strengthen other neighbors meanwhile.